So in this video, I'm going to cover a little bit about email marketing, right, and what that is. There's tons of other systems out there. I'm only going to cover the ones that we really use internally. There are other systems we use as well that kind of connect to this, but basically these are some of the best systems that we feel like are great to get the ball rolling, especially in the case where you're setting this up for somebody, you're setting it up for a client and stuff like that. You're setting it up for yourself, and you need to handle most of this on your own. So anyways, one of the main systems we like to talk about is ncharge.io. ncharge.io, the reason why I like it is because some of the automations are very easy to set up and the customization of managing multiple lists. So we can use a system like this, right, to manage a bunch of emails and a bunch of email lists and stuff like that for clients. We can add our email signatures, like as if it's directly sent from us. I think it's a clean system when it comes to sending it out and sending it out to people. It's very clean. So, people can't even tell that you're sending it from an email system versus some of these other ones, right? There's other ones called HubSpot too for sales and stuff like that, but I won't get into cold email marketing too much into this video. This is basically if you want to manage a newsletter. So anyways, I recommend a system called Ncharge, right? And some of the highlight features that are here are the automation, so you can connect it to a bunch of systems. And then you can also segment a lot of different users that you can tag it. And some of the more built-in things too, they're really nice too, is that they actually, they have this log here, whatever, of all the actions, but also they actually automatically test your email to see if it's a good email, if it's going to bounce, basically if it's a valid email. Hoping that they list it here on this homepage so I can talk about it a little bit. But that's one of the powerful things. It obviously integrates into a lot of the other systems you might be using for advertising, but it's really great when it comes time to, here we go. So also whitelisted domains, that's really important too. You want your email to come from your domain if possible, not from MailChimp or Brevo or whatever. You always want to connect yours. So some of the important things here is free email verification, lead scoring, right? They also have the transactional emails. Broadcast is kind of pretty easy to understand. It basically means, hey, I'm going to send an email to a bunch of people. It doesn't have to be super customized, right? It could be a promo, could be that you guys are closed or Christmas hours, anything. Also, I like the idea, and a lot of them have this too, where like if I send somebody an email, they don't open it, right? I don't want somebody to say, oh, I didn't get it. We can also trigger this to send again, maybe later in the day or a couple days later, right? And then obviously the personalization, a lot of them have that. Website tracking is kind of cool too. Company profiles, very, usually you want to have some kind of a CRM like that, same way if you did sales and stuff like that. And then they do have forms built in, right? Which, that I don't use too much. I rather use their own website forms and stuff like that. But it's okay, right? If somebody wants to collect information about an upcoming event or voting on something, right? That might be important. And then their email editor, I like to keep my emails, and I'm sure that most people would agree to this, unless you're doing really fancy, like really pretty designs. You can always bring that in too. You can also bring in your own HTML, your own designs for your emails. But obviously you want to keep it simple. I like to keep my email simple. It feels like I actually wrote it, and people feel like it means that, it's something they have to give attention to. When you get a promo email from, let's say, other companies like Target or Walmart, or could be Uber Eats, whatever it is, that their emails are always super fancy and designed very nicely. You feel like it's a promotional thing, right? Like maybe it's not important to read. So I don't do a lot of emails like that, maybe because it's my business and I don't really have to promote like that. But again, we're a marketing agency, so the things we send out are very much just related to what's going on with you or connecting with somebody, maybe trying to set up a call to book with people, things like that. But yeah, if you want to design prettier emails, you can do that too. So I'll move on from this one. The next one we're going to talk about is Brevo. Brevo is also not bad. I think it's an amazing system, especially when you just need to design the email, send it out, and you have a smaller email list and you just want to get the job done, right? Like it just needs to be scheduled, designed, edited, all that, and sent out. So this is definitely a good system. I feel like if you are e-commerce for sure, that's why a lot of their stuff is e-commerce, or also your email list needs to be a little bit prettier and you just want everything in one place. So I do recommend this before I recommend MailChimp and MailerLite. For one main reason, I do love how they have the email and texting. You can even have a web and mobile push, but that's like, adding your site and all that. There's a live chat option you can pay for. You can also do a chat bot, and you can also call from here. So it's kind of crazy. You can call, text, and email people. This can be an entire sales system for somebody. A lot of people will still recommend HubSpot before this though, for like sales stuff. But anyways, I do like how they have automations. They have all these different features as well, so that you can actually get into so you can actually keep everything in one place. So I'd probably use email marketing, text marketing, and lastly, I'd probably use the VoIP phone, and maybe lastly live chat or chatbot, right? So somebody can handle all the sales with just this system. Yeah, they even have like a meeting, kind of like integration as well. But obviously, if you're working like how we work, you might already have Google Meet and Google Calendar set up. You might have Calendly already set up. You might already have a full list of clients, right? And cold leads and stuff like that already set up. So just keep in mind, I do like this system as much as I like Encharge, just because of how much is already put in there. Obviously, it's going to be within your budget though, right? If you have the budget to pay for all of the features, right? Like if this can scale up really fast. Like this goes up from like, $18 to $500 a month if you're running a team. So obviously it just depends on what your needs are and how many people are involved. So yeah, and here's what's cool. They do have a free plan. I think it's like limited to like 500 emails or something like that. But anyways, a lot of the things can be set up with just Brevo. You can set up an automation where if somebody fills out a form on your website and you want to send a thank you email, you could do that with Brevo. You can automatically set up the thank you email to be sent from their system, right? It kind of saves you that automation, but obviously it's branded. You're not going to get something without your logo on there unless you're paying for it in some way. All right, so Brevo is a great system. It takes a little bit more time to learn because of all the different features. It does have a lot of what Encharge does. At this time of the video, I can't confirm if they actually verify the email for you. Again, that's a big selling point for me too, is that they can actually, for any system, is that I'm able to drop another system that I had because now it does this for me. Before, we had to use something called email list validation, right? Which is a separate service we have to pay for in order to get this system, in order to make sure that our emails are good before we add it to Brevo or MailChimp or MailerLite. All right, moving on to the next one. MailChimp is the easiest one to use, all right? And I'm gonna try to keep this video short, so I'm gonna start shortening it as I go forward, because the two focus was the main two, Encharge and Brevo. But MailChimp, this one is also great because it does have, again, the built-in texting and emailing, but I think they do beat them with, where's it at? Let me make sure. So if I'm correct, MailChimp does have nicer templates, right? There's another one I could get into too, another one that you guys might have heard of, also called Flowdesk. But Flowdesk is super simple, it's basically built on templates. Like this whole platform is built on templates. Like it's very good looking emails. So if you want to focus on the design above anything else, make your emails look really, really pretty, I recommend you come to Flowdesk and just ignore the other ones. But again, it doesn't have like you don't have like the texting and all that kind of stuff built in, but this is very much just for, here you go, emailing, get a link in bio or that link tree. Some people might call it a digital business card. And that's basically it. So you might have been looking for that in this video, but I will mention that more than just simply saying it's a pretty email system. All right, so again, back to MailChimp real quick. Email marketing, text marketing, all that stuff, right? These two, again, are big selling points for me. If these guys started getting text marketing in the future, that'd be the only system we really need, right? Because then we wouldn't even need our virtual phone system for that kind of stuff. So anyways, email marketing, text marketing, they do have the automations, right? Like the multi-step, like when somebody does this, where's it at? Just to visually give you, when somebody does this, right, do that. So they do have this kind of setup where you can do multi-step like that in Brevo, and they also have it in MailChimp. Now, the reason why I like Brevo over MailChimp is simply this. If you just need a system to automatically reply to some of your customers, you're gonna wanna go with Brevo because it's easiest to set up. MailChimp, on the other hand, is not like that. MailChimp also, the way they build things, I think it's a little bit harder to, oh, here we go. Yeah, here's how they have those customize the plan. I like how you can customize it a little bit differently depending on what you need. Versus MailChimp, I don't think they have that setup where it's like you can customize your plan. So that's basically it. And overall, MailChimp, I will say, is easier to use than Brevo. Brevo, on the other hand, again, is just, to me, in my opinion, more powerful. You may not need all that. So MailChimp would be your next your next option. So if you're paying attention to what I'm doing here, I'm going from best to probably the hardest to slowly the easiest, right? So MailChimp is another one that's really easy, has both features. I recommend this if you need something simple, but I recommend you go Brevo if you need something just a little bit more complex, right? A little bit more, like for me, I feel like we outgrew MailChimp pretty easily. Most of our clients, I feel like they do, and we end up putting them on Brevo. And at the time too, MailChimp for a long time didn't have the text marketing built in. So this was the natural, the natural choice many times. All right, lastly, to try to wrap up this video, the last system is actually called, let me hit accept all cookies, whatever, MailerLite. This is the easiest system to use. I mean, you will probably be sending emails today if you use this system. But granted, it does have a lot more limitations. I feel like it's a lot harder to understand, to customize it to make it do more complex things. That's where MailChimp's a little bit easier, and Brevo is even a little bit easier to kind of build custom automations and stuff like that. And if you don't know what an automation is, it's basically being able to make multiple steps, right? Like building this out, I always found it easier with Brevo and MailChimp even before I did it with Encharge. But now that I'm familiar with these systems, right, it's a lot easier for us to kind of like build stuff like this. All right, anyways, MailerLite is the next one you'd want to use, right? MailerLite is great. It's simple. I think it's even really affordable. I like how they have Canva integrations. I really believe whether you're doing it yourself or you hired a social media manager or you even hired us, whatever it is, it's important to have a Canva integration into any of your systems. I hate having to go to Canva, download, or we got to upload something, or there's a typo, whatever it is, right? You got to quickly fix it. You got to go back to Canva, you got to download it, you got to re-upload it. When they have an integration, you can just look for the design from your Canva inside of the platform, inside of the software. That makes it so much easier. Like in a world of where there's so many different softwares and names to everything, and you have to subscribe to all these platforms, you really want to have integrations so that you're not bouncing in and out of platforms, right? I mean, obviously if MailerLite had like some kind of deal with Canva where like, you don't have to pay for Canva extra, that would even be awesome, right? Kind of like how I think Disney and Hulu kind of bundle themselves, that kind of idea. All right, anyways, so they also have really nice templates. Again, I really feel like I'm kind of, I don't know, that in the recent times where we've tried to work with MailerLite, we feel like we're kind of limited on like how we can customize it, like natively, meaning that within the platform. You gotta do a lot of, you gotta do custom HTML or CSS to kind of start to basically extra steps, right, to get the design to look the way you want it. MailChimp is not too much like that. They have a good building system where you can build out all the designs, right? And again, I recommend you check out the templates. Brevo, if I'm correct, the last time I used it, I was able to customize the design pretty good. Like I made it look basically exactly how I wanted to. Nah, they don't have let's do email templates. Let's go over here. Let's see resources. Also probably email templates. Where do you guys have the templates? Usually they have it right here. I don't see it. Okay, maybe I can compare these two real quick. But yeah, I feel like Brevo again just has more likely the stuff you want to send. MailerLite kind of has more simple stuff, but again, simple emails sometimes are great too. But yeah, all right, so hopefully I'm going to wrap up this video by simply saying, so out of the four, Encharge is very powerful, but it's going to take a lot more to learn. Obviously, if I log into my system, you'll see like there's a bunch of automations and steps, and like obviously if you're cold emailing or something like that, right? You have like a 3 to 5 sequence, meaning like you have 5 different emails. Like, okay, I'm going to send this email first, then the second one, then the third one, and then maybe the fourth one a couple months later, maybe the 5th one a year later, and you're checking in with them, see how they're doing, right? Unless somebody unsubscribes. And then I have like a newsletter, right? Like for clients, hey, this month, we're going to be closed on Christmas or New Year's Day hours, whatever it is, right? I kind of feel like I've already have it built where it's really easy to manage. And, when you look at stuff like this, it's a lot. And then Brevo is a good system, but, since we don't need really the texting built in, we have a different virtual system. So that's the only reason why. If I didn't have our phone system, or we were doing sales a different way, we'd probably just switch to Brevo and just use these two, right? For sales, and, we'd have the live chat and all that. And then lastly, right, MailChimp, I feel like it just doesn't have enough what we want. And then, we want to have a more simple, clear, black and white, if that makes sense, way to customize things. This is kind of like guided, and this is extremely guided. So this is really going to help you get started as fast as you can. All right, so anyways, I'll wrap up that video. Don't want to go over 10 minutes too much, but this is my take or my recommendation for the top 4 email systems that you can use based on how complex you want these systems to be for your marketing. All right, so use these systems to promote things that are happening every month in your business or at your company or organization, and then choose depending on how many people are going to be involved and how simple you want these things to be. It may not need to be as complex as you think. Thank you.